welcome back. We apologize for that cut we had earlier on, leading to that break. I seriously apologize. Sorry about that. All right. You'll be able to call into the studio now. The phone number is on the screen, and you can join us in this discussion. The number you can call, and it's going to be put on the screen. What are your views about dealing with criminal elements in our community? Either terrorism, terror suspect, or even crime related issues such as gun running or knife running among the black people here in the United Kingdom, or even wherever you are. You might be watching this program in Spain, in Italy, in France, or you're even watching this program in Africa, Ghana, in Nigeria. The rate of crime within the black community seems to be soaring. It seems to be on the increase. My guest in the studio, Dr. Bakri Wolabi, has suggested two things. He's spoken about a radical education that is beyond the four walls of classroom, and he's spoken about effective parental responsibility. What are your views? The number to call is on the screen. We'll be expecting your call. Doctor, before we went on that short break, you were trying to tell us more about this issue of radical education. Now, let's go further on the issue of parental responsibility.
That's right.
Let's look deep into that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, charity begins at home. The ambition of any parent or parents is to be able to bring up their children to be better than them in this life.
Yeah.
Okay? But you see, for you to be able to achieve that particular ambition, you have to put in a lot of resources. Okay? When I say resources now, that is in upbringing that particular child. You don't just abandon your child. For example, in England, I know people are struggling to make ends meet in this society. Okay? But that should not be at the expense of your own word, or I mean your own child.
Yeah.
Okay? I know, for example, of some parents who would just lock up their very, very underage child or children in the house while they go to work. When this child is growing up, they will leave the child, that particular child or the children to mix up with others like that without proper control on their movement and so on. So in the course of going up and down, you see these children copying bad things in the society or in the community. See, it is very easy for a child to copy bad behavior. It is not easy for you to take that particular behavior away from it. Very good. You understand what I'm saying now?
Yeah.
So the moment that particular bad behavior is in the child, now anytime the parents say, I don't want you to move with this set of people again, the child will say, Mommy or Daddy, shut up. That is un-African. When a child is telling any of the parents, shut up, I witnessed one day. It was inside the train. I was in the train. When the boy told the mother, Mommy, shut up. Then I said, hang on, you can't do that. Where do you come from? Then the mother was very happy and said, we are from the Caribbean. I said, Caribbean? I lived in Caribbean for 20 years. You can't tell your parents, because you see, to be honest with you, the Caribbean people, they still have deep African culture. Forget it that anybody will say, no, Caribbeans are excellent set of people. I lived in Jamaica for 20 years, and I can tell you that. Say, for example, if a child is in school in the Caribbean, and the child happens to misbehave, you don't expel that child like we have here in England. That is part of the problem. Because you see, by expelling that child, you are telling that child you can go and join gang outside. So what they do in the Caribbean, I taught at the University of the West Indies for 20 good years, and I can tell you what is going on. So when a child misbehaves in the school, what they do is to get a way to, punish that child. Let the child concentrate. You will still remain in the school. Okay? See, for example, there was a case of a particular guy who was a gang member in Jamaica before. But because the school did not expel him, they started correcting him. He's now a minister in Jamaica government. He went to the US. He did up to PhD. Came back. He was on the national television saying that, he thanked God that he wasn't expelled that time. He was taking ganja. You know what I mean by ganja? He was taking this and that. But the school started nurturing him, telling him this is not good behavior. You have to do it. You see, the control measure from the school perspective also very, very important. Schools should not just expel anybody to say you have bad behavior. If you expel the child, where do you want the child to go? You are telling the child, then you can become a member of IC. Because when the child is becoming a deviant, he or she doesn't know where he or she belongs in a decent society. The child will become part of the bad society. Okay? So this is what we are trying to say, especially the African Research Center, to say, let us go back to our own orientation, to say, tell our children abroad that, yeah, you have the opportunity to be in the UK, go to good school, go to the good university and so on, but we want you to become responsible in the society, contribute to the society, and don't be a menace to the UK society.
So it's, earlier before we came live, you were talking about an incubator.
Yeah, that's right.
Where young black people can be bred and tutored, mentored
That's
into developing a skill that will be beneficial to the society.
That's exactly part of our program.
At the
African Research Center, okay, to be able, in fact, if you watch the launching of the center on 2nd of July, okay, what I did mostly, I created a space for African young ladies
Africans,
and yes, doing PhDs all over the UK to present their work, and they really, that's an incubator to show them that it's not only those of us who are at the top of this, we are no, we want you to be better than us. That is an African culture. I want my child to be better than me. So most of them, some of these students came from Bradford, from Birmingham, Manchester, and so on. Universities to come and present their work. In fact, if you watch, there was a particular lady from Bradford University. She said, oh, our work has not got to any level. She couldn't present the work. I said, no, present it. We are here to put you through. After she presented the work, we started giving her a lot of, she sent me email and said, Dr. Bakri, you are a professor, you are not a lecturer. You follow what I'm saying now? So we should be able to see, how do we see, it's not our selfish interest that, oh, I am now a lecturer, I'm senior lecturer, I'm professor, I can only get my own. No. We must be our brothers' keepers. Look at
being our brothers' keeper. But that is the African community way of life.
That's
but
right.
The British system doesn't appear to support that kind of life, being one's brother's keeper. Everyone is for himself in this part of the world, isn't that? Everyone seems to be for himself.
To be honest with you, this is the saying I've been hearing from people. But when they say it, I now refer to the Indian community, Bangladesh community, Pakistani community. You see, whatever you may be saying, these different communities in Asia, you see, I read in India, so you can say I'm a global man. I did my first degree and second degree in India, and I know that India has got very similar culture to that of African countries. You see, when Indians, when they come to America or they are in Europe, they do not totally lose their culture.
And they lose their culture. They don't. They really lose the gel. The bond, they still stay together.
This is
and maintain their culture. Even the way they dress.
Are you joking?
They are dressing. They don't joke with it.
See, when they come to England, you follow. They come here for opportunity, but they are not blinded by their own. No, they use their culture
by the British system.
No. I mean, even the British system itself, to be honest with you, is very, very, very rich. You understand? Look, someone was telling me when I told one of my daughters that when you wake up in the morning, you must say, good morning, daddy. That was in Jamaica when they were very young. When we got here one day, I saw a British woman, a white lady, greeting the queen, almost kneeling down. I called my daughter, I said, look. You see the culture? So what are you talking about? So people don't come here and say, oh, if you say American Yet, I live in America also. You know, I lectured in America for 3 years. I know that they are a bit different from here. But British culture is a very rich, positive culture. People should not come here and say, oh, don't get me wrong. Yeah, so in some ways, because you see, because we want to Americanize the British culture itself. A lecturer in the university will tell the students, call me by my first name. None of my students can call my phone. They must put doctor. If you just say, dear Wolabi, I will not reply your email. I once told a Chinese student, I said, can you do that in China? You don't come here and abuse the system here. So call me Dr. Bakri. All right. I'm not saying you should call me daddy or call me uncle. Call me doctor. Call me doctor. That is enough respect. And to be honest with you, when I reply email to any of my students, believe me honestly, I say professor. So some of them will come and say, sir, why do you call us professor? I say, yeah, I want you to become professor. That's why I use that particular something. I say professor. And you see, they like that. They like it. They say, sir, you are the only lecturer who respect. I say, I'm not the only lecturer. There are many, many, many. But you see, the way you behave to your lecturer is the way your lecturer will behave to you. You follow?
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
So, in dealing with vices in our community,
Yeah.
Parents have huge role to play.
They have primary role. If you use the word,
but what about the economic life in the United Kingdom and the social life? Almost 60%. Let's not overrate. Almost 40% of homes in the UK, especially in the black community, are single homes, single mom.
That is what I said.
And they need to make provisions
that
for
is
those
what
children.
I said earlier. Look at the guy who was killed, I think about 3 months ago. What is his name again? I said, what happened to this boy? As I was going through the story, the father, according to the news, the father, as I'm talking now, is in Nigeria. Is a member of Lagos State House of Assembly.
House of Reps.
I know what I'm talking.
House of Reps.
The mother is here. You understand? Look, in our African culture, we say 4 eyes. Bringing a child to this life must be the same 4 eyes that must look after that child. You don't know what the mother is doing here. The father is busy in Nigeria. The child is here. How will the child not become? I mean, see, it's not in all cases. There are some that will become responsible, no doubt about it. Okay? But in most of the cases of this deviance and so on, is behind this broken home. Okay? And this is where I will strongly criticize the system. I will now come back to the system. Because you see, if the system allows this broken home, say for example, something you can't do to your own man or your woman in a country where you're coming from, the woman comes here and say, oh, I have British law has given me the right. That particular law, honestly speaking, is destroying the family, unity.
Family ties.
That's it. In fact, I remember the former Prime Minister, David Cameron, I think about 5 or 6 years ago, did mention it. I think it was campaigning. He said, I must bring family value to the UK. That was one of the factors responsible for the vices in the UK. I remember him saying that. And that is very, very excellent. But how are they bringing up these family values? Right. That is my question.
Dr. Bakri Owolabi. Dr. Bakri Owolabi is the Director, Center for African Research at the Queen Mary University of London. Dr. Bakri, thank you for joining us on the program today. We hope to bring you back at some other time. Let's go back to watch that clip on the Metropolitan Police, and that is where we're going to end the program. I'll be signing out here. My name is Tunde Alabi. Thank you for joining us on the program. We do hope you enjoyed the program. Of course, take note of some of the information being given out by the police in that clip. If you have video clips, if you heard something, if you've seen anything, please do get in touch with the police. On the incident that happened at the Westminster this morning, about 8 a.m. You'll get more information in this clip. Until we come your way again, enjoy the rest of your evening. Doctor, thank you for joining us on the program. Have a wonderful evening, sir. Bye.
Officers who were already nearby. The man is in his late 20s. been arrested on suspicion of terrorism offences and has been taken to a South London police station where he remains in custody. Given that this appears to be a deliberate act, the method, and this being an iconic site, we are treating it as a terrorist incident, and the investigation is being led by officers from the Counter-Terrorism Command. Officers are searching the vehicle and no other weapons have been found at this time. At this early stage of the investigation, no other suspects at the scene have been identified or reported to police. There is no intelligence at this time of further danger to Londoners or the rest of the UK connected to this incident. Our priority now is to formally establish the identity of the suspect and establish his motivation if we can. He is not currently cooperating. However, as you would expect, detectives from the Counter-Terrorism Command are making various other urgent inquiries to ensure that there is no outstanding risk to the public. Can I urge anyone who thinks that they may have information that could assist the investigation to call us on 0800 789 321. That's 0800 789 321. And thank you for the many people who have already come forward. But similarly, if you've captured footage or images of this incident, you can download those to us via our website, ukpoliceimageappeal.co.uk. That's ukpoliceimageappeal.co.uk. Clearly, we are treating the scene and Parliament Square as a crime scene, so cordons are likely to be in place for some time, as the investigation team continues to carry out important work to establish exactly what happened. I can appreciate this has caused a great deal of disruption this morning to those who live, work or were visiting this area. Thank you to the public for their patience and understanding whilst we deal with the incident. We will be working as quickly and diligently as possible in order to reopen the area, but in the meantime I'd ask that the public try and avoid Parliament Square and Westminster at this time. The safety of the public is always our top priority, and the Met Police will continue to do all that we can to protect the people of London. As always, the public should remain vigilant, and if you see anything suspicious or something that causes you concern, of course, please dial 999. I'm happy to take a couple of questions.
Assistant Commissioner.
Were police already in pursuit of the vehicle before it collided with cyclists and then collided with the gate? Footage appears to show sirens behind the car, two police vans. Is that the case?
No, I've heard that this morning. There wasn't a police car in pursuit of the vehicle. I believe it was an ambulance. I'm not completely
Assistant Commissioner, the vehicle appears to drive deliberately at two police officers. Does it look as if the driver was targeting the police officers specifically?
We can't say that at this time. I mean, it certainly appears to be a deliberate act, but what the motivation is, we can't say.
Was it somebody that counter-terrorism police officers or the counter-extremism network was aware of before, the man that you have in custody?
We haven't formally identified him yet, so it's too early to make that judgment. On the details that we have at the moment, we don't believe this person is known to either MI5 or counter-terrorism policing. And at that point, thank you very much for your patience.
to economy, business, technology, the totality of what makes man is what we bring to you here on Newspunch. We give you the information that you need, from business